Ask The Unfaithful shorts. Today we are doing a new thing where we're doing just a short video, and this is in part because Sam is actually out of pocket and couldn't be with us this week, so you get me, James, and down here in not so sunny Florida. It's been very rainy. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about just a basic thing, and that's brain change. So whenever we try to change ourselves, we have to change our brain. And the reason why this is important is because we need to, if our brain doesn't change, then our behaviors don't change. Then the things that drive our behaviors don't change. So really everything that we're doing is to try to make these changes in our brain, literally build new neural pathways and get rid of the old ones that caused us to behave badly, caused us to have drives so that we act in ways that we don't like to act and in ways that are hurtful to others. So we're talking about brain change, and this is how we are going to do that. So this is my brain. So really what we have going on is we have a neural pathway, right? So here's my neural pathway for acting badly. So acting out, we'll say that. This is my neural pathway. Boom, 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 right? And it is very much like a rutted road. So if you think of a country road that you're driving down, but it's got these ruts, right? From being traveled down over and over and over and over and over again. And even if you try to pull out of those ruts, pretty quickly, actually, you're going to be pulled right back in them. And it's very hard not to stay in the ruts and go in that one direction, right? And that is what repetitive behaviors, whatever their drives, so the need for validation, the need for power, control, the need for nurture, whatever these drives are that push us in this direction, we are now on that road, and we've gone it down it so many times that it's rutted and our wheels are caught. Okay, so how do we change this, right? Well, really, okay, do we get a big four-wheel drive and yada yada? Still, the ruts are going to be there, right? Because it is very, very embedded. It's a neural pathway that is embedded. So what we have to do is we have to start building a new road, right? So that we're not going down this one. Now I'm going to create one here. It doesn't exist, right? But I want to create one here. Now this is where I'm healthy. This is in recovery. This is where our brains have changed and we act out of our belief systems, out of our values, in a way that is in concert with relational recovery. So here's what we do. We go and we start to build this new road. Well, think about that. We have to start cutting down all the brush, all the trees, etc., to start making this new road. And we're doing this from the get-go. So we've got a machete, right? We don't have big equipment. We've just got a machete. This is us trying to do it on our own. And we're hacking away. Man, that road's impassable for a very long time, right? We're going to have to work really hard. During that time, we're going to have to make the conscious choice not to go down this old one. Every time we're going to go, nope, I'm going to go build this new one. I'm going to go build this new one. So every right decision that you make changes your brain. Got that from a good friend of mine and therapist named Craig Givens. Fantastic. And I'm so grateful for that thought. That really helped me along in my journey. Every right decision you make changes your brain. So I could go down this one. I could just say that's easy. I can go down the rutted road. But building the new one is not easy. It's really, really hard. Now, the more we work on it, the more passable it's going to become, right? So the easier it's going to be to go down that that road that we want to go down, right? So we've been clearing this. We're grading it out. We're clearing it. Now we have to dig down and get deeper, right? So that we can lay the roadbed, right? The foundation, if you will, right? So now we have to grade that. Well, are we doing it by hand with shovels and stomping our feet on it to try to level it out? We could. It would take an awfully long time. We're going to end up with a very difficult road, and it's going to make our choice not to go down the rutted road that much harder. So, what's the best thing to do? I mean, hire a construction crew, right? Preferably with a foreman. So, what does that look like? That's supports. That's people who have been down this road before. They know how to build the road, right? They have all the equipment to do it, and so you hire them. Essentially, you don't have to hire them. There are places you can get them for free, groups, meetings, etc. And you can hire coaches, therapists, go into therapy group. This is your construction crew. The foreman is the therapist, the coach, the sponsor, the mentor. You might have multiple foremen to do this so that you're working every shift, right? Because you're not just doing this 8 hours and then the other 16 hours in the day. There's no construction happening. There's nothing like that. You need to be doing this constantly. Obviously, when you're asleep, hopefully all of that's building in and reinforcing this brain change. Okay, so you've got this construction crew now, right? Vital, absolutely vital, or it's just not going to get built. Or in a timely fashion. Now we've laid in the roadbed. We've got big stones, right? So foundational stuff that we had to learn, and then slightly smaller, more nuanced stuff, and then smaller gravel, and that's even more nuanced, and then sand, which are basically really getting it smooth. Now what? Are we just going to travel down that sand road? Well, no, we're going to have to put asphalt down, right? So this is smoothing it out. This is continual work. This is getting it all smoothed out. We're going to put guardrails in so that we're not going off the rails. And then we're going to put lines on the road so that we have something to keep us safe. And then in between the guardrails and the lines, we have the warning strips, right? The little bits that are dug in that make a howling sound when you roll on them in your car. So that those are there, so that this is recovery. The warning strips are, I'm getting kind of outside that recovery, and the guardrails, we're hitting those. We don't want to bust through them, right? It takes actually, after a while, after this road is built, it takes a lot to bust through those guardrails. We can do it if we're deliberate about it, but man, we've got all these warnings before we get there. So, and eventually we've made this beautiful smooth road here. And this one, guess what? It's actually getting overgrown initially with weeds, and then etc. until there's brush and forest, and you can't even see where that road was, right? So it's disappearing. It's actually, the brain will actually destruct, right? Deconstruct that old road, right? And it actually takes that sort of rubble from the rutted road and such and puts it out, like almost like garbage cans when it's garbage night, right? And the garbage men are coming in the morning. It puts those out, and then the brain's garbage men, called glials, come along and they pick those up, right? And that actually tears down an unused, so we can't use it, we can't relapse, we can't go down that road. The more we continue to kind of go down that road, the longer it's going to stay there, and the less this one's going to be built. So the more we're doing this one, the less this is used, and the more the brain actually tears it apart. And depending on the level of behavior that you've had before, if it's on the level of, say, addiction or compulsion, that's really, really big. And so for a long time, it's like the bridges, if you've ever been down to the Keys, there are bridges that used to be there, railway bridges, but the trestles are still there. And slowly the sea is eroding those, but the trestles are there. You could deliberately rebuild those bridges if you wanted to, but eventually those will fall down. That's if something's really, really, really entrenched. If it's been along the line of something that isn't compulsion and addiction, then it'll be easier to tear this down, and it won't take as long. So what are we talking about as far as time? We're talking about for neural pathways to start change. In other words, for this one to actually have laid in a little bit of gravel and such so that you can see that, oh, that's a road, is at the earliest 6 days. Wow, that sounds really good. But remember, it's just been cleared, right? Or is being cleared. It's starting to have a semblance of, something's happening, right? Then the 28 days is the next big one. And then we're talking next 30 days, next, and so on, right? And really that road takes between 6 to 18 months to build. And that's actual brain change. It's been shown in SPECT scans and such. 6 to 18 months to build that. Now, when is it used as like a superhighway, where this one's completely gone or very close to completely gone, and this one maybe just little vestiges, right, if it was addiction or compulsion, and this one is fully built? That can be 3 to 5 years, but don't despair, because that 6 months you're really going to see some major change. That 18 months, that's the brain has repaired itself. It's able to function now, right? Even if it's had to find workarounds, it is able to function along this new roadway. Now, is it a superhighway? Is it like the Autobahn? Can you do 140 on it, or whatever they do on the Autobahn? I've never been on it. Not yet, but it will get there, right? As long as you keep using it and not use this one. So as you're building this, you do not want to slow down. The reason that you want to embrace it fully, it's kind of like, this isn't a government project, right? It's not, you don't have 5 people standing around with their hands on the shovel, right, watching one guy dig. That's not what it is. And so you're not going to take long breaks. You're not going to just work the 8 hours on it and then it's done. You've got a 24-hour crew, right? It's daily work. It's hard work, but it'll get it done, and it'll actually speed up this. So you'll be closer to the 6 months in the brain repair than the 18 months. And the full-on recovery at 3 to 5 years, again, don't despair. That's where, oh, wow, you've got a whole new life, and your brain has changed so much that hopefully your relationship has been born anew at that point. So remember, you got to have a construction crew, or this is going to take a long time. You're going to have a lot of issues with that road. You need a foreman, or more than one, to help guide you. You need all of these. The construction crew is your supports, who know what this road is like. They know how to build a road. Your foreman, or 4 people: therapist, coach, sponsor, mentor, accountability partners, and so on. They're going to help build this so much faster. It's daily work. Don't stop, right? There's a million reasons to stop, but it's going to be what gets you healthy, and you do what you did to get to that place. Okay? So, really clearly, every right decision that you make changes your brain. Thank you.